take it back to like 2003. Is that like your first track there? Can you tell us a bit about that track, the name of it?
Yeah, the first single that we released was on Scottish label Nerve Records. It was the A-side was Silicon. It was a solo tune by us, and the B-side was a tune called Tomahawk. We did it with American producer Mayhem from Atlanta.
Right, okay.
And actually, he found our tunes online on electronicscene.com. We used to post there like since 2001 or something, just to get feedback, and it was the only place that hosted like MP3s by amateur producers who wanted to just get feedback basically. And he found some of our tunes, and he signed a couple of our tunes. It took him a while to set up his label back then. So that wasn't actually, the tunes that he signed weren't the first ones to come out. But in the meanwhile, he came over for a visit to Holland, and we wrote Tomahawk with him. And in the meanwhile, we wrote Silicon by ourselves. And yeah, so that.
You kind of like, your tunes like, you know, a lot of people know your tunes for drum and bass.
Yeah.
But I know that you've got right across the board. You do breaks, you do dubstep. You know, there's quite a. How do you? Well, it's more breaks, but how do you find which genre that you really want to push, or do you just write what you feel?
No, we definitely write what we feel. We've always been doing everything. It's just that more recently we've actually started like showing the world.
Right. Yeah.
What we're about. But I mean, we started off writing like shit, like really bullshit music to make ourselves laugh.
Yeah, of course.
Apart from
commercial side.
Not even that, just like really silly shit. And we never like intended to release any music or anything like that. I started making, personally, I started making hip hop and trance music. And Nick and Tides were doing like sort of big beat or Fatboy Slim stuff.
Right, yeah,
that sort of stuff, but with like silly organs and harmonicas and shit.
Quite quirky.
Yeah, just random stuff. And at some point we discovered drum and bass. And
where was that?
We actually got a couple of, well, we had a radio station in Holland. Drum and bass wasn't too popular because I think Jungle, when it came over to Holland, it wasn't ready to take over Holland, and it sort of died slightly. So we had one radio show every week that would play 2 drum and bass records in the middle of the night, and that was our first sort of contact with drum and bass. And then we managed to find a couple of drum and bass CDs in the public library.
Right.
And we just rented them and copied them to mini disc and just listened to it. And it took us like 2 or 3 years to find out that it was actually club music, because we'd been listening to it just on our way to school and shit like that.
Right.
And so we didn't even know that there were DJs playing that music. And,
so it's all quite new to you. It's a really new genre. Like you said, was there many people? Was there any like DJs out there playing?
There were DJs, and there was like a small scene. There were no producers, but we only found out like after a couple of years. Like I can clearly remember that not being able to go to one of the first drum and bass nights that we found out about. They had like at Russian Optical and Stuck in Sky or something on the bill, and I couldn't go because I was 17. So it was really good when we found out, and I think that still influences our music today. That we really saw drum and bass as music to listen to as well as to rave to.
I think that's the best thing about Noisia itself, though, because you know, even though, like I said before, Noisia is known for drum and bass, they really can make other genres of music and make that work as well. So it's not like, you know, you get like the sort of stereotypical with just drum and bass acts. You know what I mean? You do actually make really good breaks.
Yeah, well, the thing is, we never intended to, like I said, we never intended to like become a big artist or whatever. So we never tried to make it in the drum and bass scene.
Right,
we just wrote lots of drum and bass tunes at some point, and we're obviously very happy that they got picked up by big labels and that we got bookings and stuff. Even though we also never intended to become DJs, and here we are. Yeah, apart from that, we always wrote like different stuff, but we never got the same sort of feedback on that as we did with the drum and bass stuff.
Right, yeah.
No one actually heard it, and we didn't feel like starting all over again by starting to put demos on forums and stuff like that, as we did with drum and bass. But at some point, we got quite confident about the quality of the music that we wrote on the site.
Started getting a lot of airplay, radio, and
no, but before that, even like with the non-drum and bass stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, at some point we were like, fuck, this is Noisia as well. Why not fucking release it?
That's Noisia.
Or at least like send it out to a couple of people, see what they say, and they were really like positive. And so we started to release some of that shit as well.
Machine Gun is the first track off the album.
Machine Gun is the first single of the album, and it's actually the first track on the album as well.
Right, okay.
And we've got the next single coming up, which is the title track, Split the Atom. It has a slightly more convenient video that comes with it as well. And then like the album's basically based on the fact that we want to really present ourselves as being a bit more versatile than drum and bass, just drum and bass. So
it's more eclectic?
Yeah, it's definitely eclectic. I think that's the most appropriate word for it. And then there's like little skits, like there's quite a few like minute-long bits on there. Because we write millions of those, and we never found a place for it, and we were like, we can't really finish these as tunes since they're just done, and you would just take all the beauty of it away if you just write them out even further. So I think it was
keeps it raw.
Yeah, it just keeps it like this is the way we listen to those little clips.
Yeah, sure.
This is the way we obviously wrote them the way we'd like to hear them, and yeah, why not just put it on there as little bits.
So take us a bit through the process of you actually producing the tracks that you're producing, you know, from a drum and bass point of view, because the beats are like, they're so clean, the beats are really clean, the basses and the synths that you're using they're coming in and out, you know what I mean? It's not a normal like drum and bass track, but it's very much in that genre.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So take us a bit through the processes and what you like,
just
what you don't like.
A general drum and bass track.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Well, usually, I guess, the way we like to work is, we work in Cubase, which is, we've been doing that for years now, so why change? Yeah. What we do is, whenever we start a track, we don't necessarily start a track. We just start with a sound, and we might actually just rinse the whole CPU on one sound or a drum loop, and we don't necessarily see that as a start of a track, but we bounce that into a folder. We've got a samples folder for every month.
So you more or less use the whole CPU for every individual track?
We don't have to, I mean, but if necessary, like we just process it until it sounds right, and then we bounce it. Folders per month, so we end up having folders for each month with like bass sounds, like bass riffs and stuff like that, or little sequences and drum loops and atmospheric shit. And then whenever we actually start writing a track, we usually get back to those sort of pre-made. We create our own sample banks basically. And then it's a lot easier to as a starting point, because when you feel inspired, you don't want to like spend like 4 hours EQing a snare.
Yeah, true.
I mean, you might actually go back into it to make it fit the tune, or just add some new elements, obviously. But I think it's really a really good starting point to have like already to your liking, a process to your liking, beats, whatever. that you're feeling at the moment.
You keep it relevant because there's a lot of tracks, you know, especially with drum and bass, you find that with drum and bass tracks, like quite a few of them made by the top artists, sound the same, they're using the same sort of software, they're using the same sort of plugins, for instance, they're using the same sort of things. So what makes your tracks stand out rather than the run of the mill that's everybody's at the moment?
Maybe a different chain of plugins, maybe a different opinion on like whenever something's processed to your liking.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's really important that there's a lot of people ask us like, what's your trick for like drums or bass or whatever. Well, there is no trick. Obviously, there's no fucking trick.
Depends on the track.
Not just that even. It's what you want to hear. It's your taste in music. It's you try to be as educated as possible when it comes to the software and the hardware that you're using. And you just have to know how to get there, how to get to the point where you just listen very carefully and don't get like, just be patient and try to enjoy like
the
process and try to get where you want to go. And then the best things actually happen when you don't get where you want to go, but get to an even better stage that you didn't expect, and that's how you learn.
So what can we expect from Noisia in 2010? I know we've got the album coming out, you're doing a lot of touring.
Well, we just completely redid our studio to keep ourselves motivated, like bought lots of new shit just to be able to fuck around in the studio, new computer and like new synths and all that.
Just something to get your teeth into.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep your interest going.
Yeah, and we just finished doing our own album, plus like we did the Hadouken album.
Yeah.
Stuff. Pop, whatever stuff. And Dutch electro pop album, and so we're quite happy to be able to focus on our own stuff again. So we're just gonna fuck around, really.
So basically, we can expect a lot from Noisia this year.
We're gonna write a whole lot of new, like proper Noisia music. It can be drum and bass. It can be something completely different.
Expect unexpected.
Yeah, but I mean, just a fresh start for us. We haven't, like I said, we haven't had a lot of time to do that, and I'm really looking forward to that.
My love for you is far from gone. There's something missing in my world. There's something missing in my world. While everything else just moves along, I find it hard for me to